abamulese abagamba either twaleeta mubi eyamuleeta yatuliyimba ate nga nze musenze kennyini amulina nga fitness coach. Njogera ku ddala fitness cause president yatugambye buli omwayo abeere mu area ye, era president nze wontaayiza bulungi nnyo n'ompisa mu eyo area I will go far because mpulira omutima gwange gwagala fitness. Saagala coach no, saagala kubeera head no. Era wenda bipapula zonke assistant coach. Where do I belong as a fitness coach? Am I an assistant coach to Brian Senyondo? Awo nawo Mr. Muteyaba tutererezeewo baba fitness tumanye we tugwa. Waba wali, that is very important. Then salary, like Lugazi head coach said, chitukuba ogenda kumaluni negamba nkwe mitwala abiri. Yes, for example, nogenda kwikudef negamba kesi segaba meka jova negamba fe wano nga bamaje tugaba asaka naye nga jova badde bakwate kakadde ate obudde bugwako nogamba kale mumpe kubanga gyovudde bakugobye bugobi nogamba katandikire wano. So ekyo nakyo tujja kukitunuulira tulabe. Engoba y'abatendesi head coach abazannyi tebabakkiriza kubagobagoba. Naye nze mu contract yange bantinamu lose 3 matches consecutively fired. You go. Naye singa tugamba nonge nsambe nga contract yange weeri nga fitness coach nga tasobola kungoba in the middle of the season, that would be okay. Oboli awo season wenegwerako etimu enebeeteredde n'ensiga z'omulimu. Yes, n'ensiga z'omulimu. Naye bakugobye, you don't have anywhere to start from.
Okay, point understood.
Thank you very much.
You, Alex, and then Kiri, our family.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I would want to start with a point from one of the colleagues. I'm one person who has benefited from the studies that was fully supported by FUFA. And I think I would say from the fitness side, we need more of those from my own personal experience. Now, Mr. President, I looked at the clarifications from your presentation, and based on conditioning aspects, we see that between 14 to 17 years is where we're developing a lot of the physical aspects. But then by this time, the students, the boys are at school, and I doubt if there is a lot of expertise to develop things to do with movement efficiency, with speed, strength, and power, among others. But then I also appreciate the fact that there is a national teams academy that's coming up, and I know this can only accommodate a few of the players that we could have gotten from the talent pool. So I don't know what the plan is to bring fitness and conditioning deep down in those schools and develop the right expertise down there. Or my other suggestion would be, in the National Teams Academy, we could have a school that is fully registered by the Ministry of Education, which is running the ministry curriculum, and also have the football curriculum besides it, so that whoever is in the National Teams Academy is benefiting from all aspects of football, including fitness, and also the schools and the ministry. Thank you.
All right, I think let me make some reactions, then we have the second half. I think Chikundu's point was just to take a note of, which we did, we discussed. And then I also think responded to Philip's issue of using the coaches in schools. Then Simon, minimum wage. Now, let me speak more generally here, because I can feel a certain sentiment. And you know me, I speak very, very direct. I get friends and enemies in equal numbers, which is okay. But sometimes I stick to the principles. Members, make your job good. They will look for you wherever you are. There is no shortcut in life. minimum wage, whatever you do, be good. The moment you're good, you will have a price. As simple as that. There are clubs in this country that are employing coaches from outside Uganda. True or false? Be good, you will have a price, and you will be paid for the price. And that's the principle of life. You cannot just go round it. For me to tell you that the federation is going to set a minimum wage, where have you seen it? Not even the government can do it. We are as good as what we put on the table, and that's how much we get paid. That's the reality of life, and we deal with it. Those are laws of nature. So the issue of, and I want to understand, and that's why we are saying we have put 2 licenses. You can choose to get a general license, so that you can coach more than one team if you wish. But if you are going to be a professional coach with a professional license, he's saying that license should restrict you, and for good reason. If we are going to create that brand called the Uganda Premier League, for example, I don't expect you as a head coach kusanga kukataka wali, kusanga wano, huyo masaza, huyo wa. But if that's what you have chosen to do, then do that. Because you can get a general license, you have a big league team, for example, then you are coaching masaza, then a university, and that's a general license. That's why I said whatever we are doing, we are being all inclusive. The ones thinking like that are included. And even the ones that are sticking to professionalism are also what? Included. As simple as okay, let me just take an excuse such that people can stretch. I'm told people are dozing. So let people stretch a little bit as I attend to one call, and then in a few minutes we'll proceed. The proposal by Coach Simon Mugerwa about the minimum wage, which I think I made my submission. The other one was by Tezigwa saying we maintain local coaches on junior teams. I will still insist that let's make ourselves good. You will be chosen from wherever you are, and you will be given an opportunity. There's not going to be a shortcut. Let us not think that the national team is going to be a trial for somebody to improve. Because at that level, you are competing with also coaches from other parts of the world. It is international football at that level. So you cannot go at the international level and try. What is important is that let us have a profile back home. That profile will track you. Do the right things. Football has the habit of choosing its people. Just do the right things, consistency. Eventually people will say, "Naye, ono musajja akola ki?" You will be picked up. So I want to just give you advice that make yourself better. Are you trying to improve yourself? Are you competing with yourself? So that the you today and the you tomorrow is better than the you today. And the knowledge is available. Now today we are more exposed. For us as a federation, our duty is to bring resourceful persons, to bring material, to bring courses, to do such things. Your role is to benefit. And then it's not going to be whether it's a local coach. A coach is a coach. I believe you can also be picked for me and you go to Rwanda and you also become a coach. We have seen Ugandans going outside Uganda. And if we use that methodology, then why should Ugandans go outside Uganda? For me, make a profile, be good. Football will look for you. I've seen the coach, national team coach of Brazil, is not even a Brazilian. You can imagine in the whole of Brazil, I don't know whether there are no coaches in Brazil. But that's football, depending on the conditions that are prevailing at that time. Let us be international. I want to see you also from Maroons and you go to Equatorial Guinea to coach. It is possible. It's how you build yourself to get there. And as a federation, we want to help you build yourself. And when you're there, definitely you make a contribution. I think what Coach Matia raised, I already raised it. I don't know if they can take me back to some of those slides. Whatever he raised, I think I raised it. He was suggesting that we need to take some coaches, and by us saying that let people specialize, I think we are actually communicating the same thing. That if you want to be in youth football, don't ask the federation to do it. We are asking you are the coaches. You even know yourself better than the coach knows you. You have even your own passion. Because it's not just about knowledge, but it's also passion. You can never succeed in something where you do not have proper passion. Okay? The 5 factors of success, passion is just one of them. You cannot succeed if you are doing something and you don't have passion for it. So, the point we are raising is that let people specialize. If you don't know what your strength is, ask your next neighbor. He will tell you. Sometimes people know us better than ourselves. Ask, he will tell you that your strength is actually in youth coaching, or your strength is in fitness, or your strength is in performance analysis, or your strength, there are so many areas, is in set pieces. Now we are seeing there are coaches of set pieces. Me, I've seen Ugandan teams, and I always sit with Ronnie and I tell him, I've seen Ugandan teams, clubs and national teams. We concede dead balls, we don't do anything with the dead balls. For life. I know that. I know it is a given. It is better we even restart and try to do other things, but it's a given. Why don't I specialize? And I said, for me, I'm specialized in set pieces. That is going to be my strength. I'm telling you, people will come with money and take you and pay you. So specialization, I talked about it. Then the benchmarking, I still mentioned it. I said, one of the things we want to do is to invite international experts to come here and deal with us. He said, I also said, we want to have FOFA-sponsored international training for some people to go for training elsewhere. I also talked about the international placing. I think these are things I talked about already. That let us have international places where we take some of our coaches somewhere else and they see how things are actually done. Then Mr. Kayondo was also talking about the standardized coaches structure, salary structure for clubs. I think this I've mentioned, I've responded to, that let us just make ourselves good. This industry is going to become competitive. If you're not careful, it will leave you behind. And we don't want us to say, no, we are looking for performance. And you can only fit in things. Things were different before. Things go on changing. Things change. Things get harder. There's a time when people will just call them again and get things across the border. Now they brought URA, things became harder. In life things become harder, they don't become easier. But then it's because the market is also demanding for better. A coach is an animal of firing and hiring. If you chose the job of being a coach, better understand that you're going to be, the day you are hired is the day your letter for being fired is being written. That is the hazard of this job. You don't know. That is the hazard of this job of being what? A coach. The day you are hired, the one who has hired you starts writing the letter of firing you. That's how you operate. Unfortunately, in the whole world, it's not just. Personally, I believe in giving coaches time, give them time. But there are other people who are employers and they do not have to wait. So, saying we shall not be fired in the middle of the season, we cannot do such a regulation. Even if we want to do regulations. But I think for me, be good, be professional, do your work. There's nobody who is going to fire you when you are doing your job. And I disagree with Kidia, saying that a fitness coach, if a team loses, it is not his problem. How? How can that be? I don't understand that. A team is as good as its fitness. May believe that a fit team will win matches even if other things are not done. We will get some results. We are responsible, all of us, for loss. Just as we are all responsible for a win. So you cannot have a mentality and say for me, but I doubt that the coach go back to the Bab. No. You get it? So I think Felix was talking about what happens in the schools. That is the lowest level as far as fitness. And we have a problem. And some of the proposals we are having with the ministry, we have a list of proposals, very many. We are saying let them create a curriculum for an elite path athlete. Otherwise, when you get an elite path athlete, we have already identified this talent. And you are telling this boy to go to class and study physics and chemistry and mathematics and political education, 12 subjects. And after that, you take him on the pitch. One of the two will not work. Either the academics will not work or the football. You cannot have both. So we are saying, can we have a special curriculum where this child also goes to school? Because on that field, I think Mr. Kayodo was explaining it. On that field, that player is undergoing education. When you are playing football and you are under instruction, you are actually undergoing a form of education. So why don't we add a little bit of things that probably you need in life for you to be a complete product when you finish playing football? People have learned English from playing football without going to blackboard. And they start speaking English. Why? It is possible. By you sitting in a class, by you sitting, that informality of sitting in a football classroom, and the coach or whoever is communicating, it is already education itself. So, our engagement with the ministry is that we want to have a curriculum for those elite athletes, not only footballers. Because he's going to train, he's going to be running on the pitch when he's tired. And you know what happens? By the way, that's not true. But the nature of education that requires you, eventually you are tired, you are dozing in bread, and yet our education is about remembering. Our education examines people from how much you remember. Now in the process you start thinking you are stupid. You give up. They are not stupid. Then eventually the concentration starts going into football. And the moment it goes there, then there is less attention in education, then the grades start dropping. Then when the grades drop, that's how they end up. Yes, we want education because these are human beings. At the end of the day, they will finish playing football. They will live a life. So they should be educated for them to have a life afterward, after playing. But then they can be educated in a tailor-made what? Curriculum. But these are discussions we have with the ministry. We hope they buy them. They are the decision makers. We have children. When we were under 17 World Cup, there are children who missed the And this time we even asked the parents. We said, no, we are not going to ask the children. And the parents said, we'll go one and World Cup. So the kid misses but says we cannot. He has to repeat a whole year. But this boy was actually at the World Cup and actually was playing for the country and was actually looking for a future somewhere else. But then when he comes back, the funny bit of it is USSA does not allow this boy to play in their competitions because he's a repeater. Therefore, he cannot get a bursary. Therefore, he has to get out of school and abandon this whole school thing and continue with other things. So, these are engagements we are having. And these are debates that all of us football people must be what? Involved in. It's not only for the federation. The way government works, not only for me to speak, it's for all of us to speak. Such that they understand that there's actually a problem. Because these are our friends, these are our children, these are Ugandans that we need later. I think those were the issues. If I left out something, then maybe let's have the next half and we conclude. I'm told it's about lunchtime for those who are not fasting. And those who are going for Juma, it's almost time. So, Mr. Chambade, must have a fast, then we shall have Mr. Chambade. Number 3. Number 4, fire. Let me first give out Masala Soko in the Number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Guys, we are going to stop at 7. Okay? Let's go.
The workshop when you take it. Nzenga kuba ngakuwakanya ku kyogambye nti zi national team zibeera ne ba coach abasambirako ebweru mu timu ez'enjawulo. Nze nsuubira nti ffe ba coaches ba Uganda bw'otwadde obwesigwa n'otuwa ebikozesebwa ne national team tugisobola era tusobola okuleeta results. Mbaddeko ku unders zonna 20 ngeri mu Africa Cup of Nations naye nga tusisinkana ba coaches nga Buganda abasambira ebweru mu timu z'ebweru naye nga tugwisana nabo obwenyi at the end of the day nga tubagobye. So oba otukirizaamu tujja kukola omulimu omulungi nga ffe bwe tukukirizaamu ng'oli mu ntebe eyo mulimu emu by'otereezezza nga you are within ekitegeera mulimu abamu bye bakuwakanya ng'ate nabyo bituufu. So tukkirize national team gituwe bakochi bannange mugisobola oba temugisobola. This is the time we tell them the fact gituwe tujja kukola omulimu. Tubadde ku under 17 nga tusinkana abakochezi ab'enjawulo ng'osanga national team under 17 ng'erina bakoches 22 nga bonna bapulaningira mupiira gwo. Abamu twabagoba naye nga ffe tulinga 5 naye nga nabo bapulaninga naffe tukola ki tupulaninga. So Mr. President, ekyo kyokugamba nti bali basambira mu Liverpool and other clubs, yes tetukijjaawo naye naffe tusobola because we are in football. We played, you are coaching and we can manage the national team. Sirigamba nti omuzungu gimugjeeko naye singa contract ye expiring, consider us. Thank you for it.
Mr. President, there are some things already over there the trainer okulowoozako even for the future. Our teams, especially the modern player, needs mentors. Mentors are very important thing, especially for the modern game. You have seen some teams, they put on a scaffold when they have gone to play, and there's nobody to gather the players of Bagamba Chinobachi. And it starts with in our clubs. Another thing is about advising our clubs, maybe Mpira going to improve, to make sure that the old players are given a chance. Okubanti baddayo clubs as basa. Kuba balina culture, balina everything for those clubs. Especially, there's no nation which is there without 4 or 5 clubs which are top. But when you look at our clubs, it's not about finance alone. But those who have tried biregeza hopes of their players, and you can see those players have the culture and have something to plan to the young players, and they really have the heart. If we can also do that, I think also they can improve. Another thing is about technical directors in these clubs. I don't know, something which we need also to look at, because those are also jobs for the coaches, but when they finish, they cannot coach that area, and you need people who are really understand the game. Maybe they need also a course in future. It's same by the commentaries. Some of the ex-players or those who finish can commentate these games so well, and if you can look for a way of fixing them somewhere, I think the game will absorb so that people are no, there are people who can talk football and they really would see this game growing to another level. That's it.
Number 3.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, for giving me this opportunity before fellow coaches. I want to appreciate the presentation. My concern is on the FUFA coaching badge levels. You presented the 7 levels, the descending orders. When you look at the minimum academic qualifications for some levels, especially the levels that are top, there is a For example, level 2, it has a first degree or equivalent. When you look at some of our coaches who are very experienced, some of them may not have that qualification, but they are very experienced. So I was just asking, how is the federation going to help them to keep them stay in the game, however much they don't have that minimum academic qualification? Then the other concern is on their language. When you look at level 7, it shows that they are incorporating the local languages, but as the level goes up, it is strictly English. So I don't know how that is about. Thank you so much.
Number 4.
Mr. President, nyenzo mkisakupa. Naye nenda kukulira goalkeeping. Enchant, Mr. President, watulaze ndi bakulu mutuwa numbers nti kamera ugende bakulu yenkana namba bweti. Naye ekyange kiri nti abasambi abakulu batandika mpolampola netutuukira. Waliwo abasambi ababeera ababayita ku national team tetumanyi awo we babulira. Okusinziira waliwo ligimu ya Coach Matyalule yalina ligimu eyo naye bwetufunira bagolukipa abaali awo tetubalaba kati ngaaba mu Lusi. Tunako ligimu ya Coach Mole mwalimu bakoma keeki awo bonna tetukyakubalaba kati tutunudde Coach ya ligimu Brian era yatuna bano babadde nabo bawayiri nabo bawulidde awo kati awo nebuuliza nti eri tujja tuukayo mpola mpola naye bano bwetwalitandikiddeko ne tugenda kubanga bamu babeera mu masomero bwe bavaayo eyo tetuddamu kubalaba bawulira awo ne tuyitamu ate abakulu naye nga talibadde ndo omusaba ngandowooza ti senga tuba tutwala bano abakulu tuyita bano abasajja abakulu bajjamaa netutyako at least n'omuto oyo netugamba nti kati eno season tutteko oyo omuto tusuubira nti tusobola okukakinga era tubeerako ne kyetulaga naye bawulirawo Mr. President.
Number 5.
Well, I would like to thank the Federation for coming up with these ways of improving our game. Basically, I'm going to throw a comment on youth football. Mr. President, I believe that you've educated coaches. I've seen them around 5,000 in the whole country. But me, I would think that the only way we can maybe fasten the quality of football could be like educating more coaches. For example, look at a place like Luzira. Imagine Luzira had 500 coaches, meaning that every 5 kids will be having 1 coach. So the quality of teaching will literally improve. Because we find that there are 5 coaches against 200 academic kids, so we'll miss a lot. Secondly, this thing has been challenging, disturbing me. You'll find that at national team levels, you'll find the coach is teaching a player how to give width, how to control the ball, yet they have less time, they're supposed to go for their game plans. So mine will go to academy. Yes, I've seen the national curriculum, which is very good, excellent. I think that's the only way we shall achieve get more players at the pro level. But now, mine is on benchmarking. For example, we have a curriculum, then a syllabus must come in that is deliberate. That every age group, like if I'm teaching skills, it's between at 11, yes, set it football skills, the whole country, they're teaching football skills. And then when we go, for example, 12 to 14, principles of play, because everything rotates around, for example, principles of play, then other concepts. Then 14 to 16, preparing players maybe for competition. But now, what are we going to benchmark on? See that within the syllabus, at this point, we are achieving this. When, for example, there's no national league for under like 11 to this group that you are focusing on basic what? Skills. So, how are we going to benchmark on these things? Because now, in the league, we are getting problems. We'll find that what is letting our league maybe not develop is that the gap between players who have mastered some things and players who have not mastered certain things. And again, challenges here will come like, you'll find in the league top spenders, they get the cream of what? Players. Now when you get to clubs that don't spend, they don't have the 35 million to sign a quality player, and then you're struggling. You need, then the periodization, the pre-season is short. But now you have nothing to do, you have to get to the league. But now you need to get players who can do what? Match the opposition. So this all goes to academy. How are we going to benchmark that at every stage? You make sure that over 5,000 kids have attained that level of basic skills. 5,000 have attained that level of maybe principles of play and some other things in football. Then, within the academy, then there's a challenge. How are we going to address it? We find that you have a challenge with parents and club owners, academy owners. You'll find the academy owner may want a trophy. So I'm going to make them understand the academy is not for winning, but developing what? Players. Thank you very much.
Next, number 6.
Chairman, President Kwaniriza, ensonga yange egenda kwetoololera ku academy. Mu myaka gy'enkumi awo, Uganda waliwo academy banga nnyo basatu. Waliwo eya Jogoya, waliwo KKL ya Muzungu, waliwo FOF eya Butindo, naye ettiimu n'endala waliwo Zebra ndowooza sitajjukira balala banga ddembi. Wolves yaliwo, Heri Wolves yaliwo. Twalina tournamenti ez'abaana abamanyi. Academy ezo ebiseera ebyo zaalina category nyingi. Nga waliwo under 10, 12, 14, 16 n'abali 18. Nga zisamba waliwo state tire tournament, waliwo share tournament, waliwo eya Zetel seera ebyo n'ebirala. Tournament ezo zaafulumya abasambi bangi. Villa twafulumya abasambi ne basaavinga Uganda emyaka 10. Mulimu Bantambi, mulimu Bazira Mike, Bamunene, Bangabi Yasinga n'abenjawulo Babengo n'abalala besejjukira. So nze ndowooza nti bwe tuteeka amaanyi wansi awo tujja kufuna ekinyusi kya Uganda gyeraga. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala.
Nja kwongera okwebaza President, twebale nnyo yosobodde okukolera omupiira. Naye nze naawe akalowoozo katono oba n'okusaba President nga nsaba twongere tuwe koose za fitness kuba zibadde ntono nnyo. Neyanza gisebo.
Paulo Salimu omuzindaalo yatukubya goolo
ndowooza nze coach asinga wano experience n'olwekyo abadde tamanyi nti ndi coach saalyagadde kuddamu bye bawogedde bingi. Paulo Salimu emannya gange nga nze mpulira Players Association. Ebyange biringa advice ku ba coaches kubanga nange ndi coach ate kiruddemu kimanyi twogedde bingi naye ndowooza tusobola ne for coaching national teams senga tukyusa attitude zaffe. omupiira ne tuguwa obudde naye abasinga omupiira ne tuguwa budde omuntu omulabako ssaawa ya coaching n'adduka. Nze nga association yaffe mwandibadde mugyetaaga nnyo olwokubanga ffe tubatambulamu, ffe twadvisinga abazannyi naye betujja kumugamba tutuse kuva mu kusaa tuzze kukola ki ne mutamanya nti ffe tuba tuyamba mmwe kubanga abazannyi abo balina ebizibu bingi ate betujja ngo basobola okutubuulirako nti omuzannyo guwulire guwondi bali bwe bati ffe tuba tulira ddala wali mu ngeri yaffe ne tubabuulira ne tusobola okukyusa attitude yaabwe. N'olwekyo nze nsuubira nti association yaffe mugiyambise nnyo ate era bingi bye tubadde twogera wano bangi abagenda okumala omupiira ffe tubadde tubaadvisinga n'abalala tubafulirako courses zetworganizinga ne baba nga kalya yaabwe mu mupiira bagyongera mu maaso. N'olwekyo mbasaba busabi bw'obanga oli mu ttiimu toba na malala mangi, tulina amalala mangi. Omuntu mu kifo ky'okukkiriza okuweebwa amagezi ye alowooza nti ki omulimu gw'abakooki emyaka gye gumazeemu tegulina permanence kubanga nyinza okuweekeza wano Micho yaliko muviira n'atwala nnabo naye next season yadrowinga emirundi ebiri ne bamugoba. N'olwekyo bw'obanga olina wooli gezaako okuba nti owuliriza osaba abali senior bajje boogereko n'abazannyi bo abo abazannyi ojja kubeefuga naye ate ne basinga okubayekera era n'okubalemesa. N'olwekyo eyo advice yange.
It is almost time for prayers. If you want to accept that I don't go for prayers and you take my sins, they are not very many, don't mind.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. On behalf of the coaches, I want to thank you for the good job you're doing. But mine is a concern. We really appreciate the program you have for the next years. But inside this house, we have the elite coaches. I would like to quote what Coach Matiale said. These are producing players now for the national teams because they are elite. All these coaches in this house are Super League, the top 16 teams in the top tier league. So it means at times, as the national team coaches we are looking at today, we want to thank you for the technology. Most of the persons have not appreciated the catapult. That was good in terms of performance. And my area is now today, the countries we want to rub shoulders with, it is very unfortunate or fortunate that when you went to the federation, you started with governance and now you're sporting. But these countries have done that for the last 50 years. I happen to be part of the contingent that was for the AFCON, where most of the countries are now using the players who are born from Europe. Actually, if you look at the statistics, out of the 624, over 199 were born from Europe. Now, this is my area. President, I want you to support these coaches here at the elite level, because it will take 20 to 30 years for the National Academy to produce 1 or 2 or 3, so that we make 20 players within the Sekafa and the Kosafa area. But now it is today. President, the short time I've been with the national team with Coach Paul Put, it is so hard. The catapult that was given to clubs is only used on the game days. Am I right? So throughout the week, the performance of players is not monitored. And remember, the national team is managing fatigue. It's not about fitness and anything. It's understanding how the player has been throughout the 2 or the 1 month. In terms of analysis, President, we need to really help get down to the ground and be practical. The coaches are struggling with jobs. They have so many jobs they are doing. He has to analyze the game, he has to go into performance, he has to look after the player. It is a very, very big job. But now there is online analysis. President, if you could help the clubs with the gadgets for the online analysis so that their work is very easy. Today the assistant is standing, the head coach is standing, no one is trying to analyze for the other. Lastly, we hinted on the young players coming from the junior teams and they are nowhere. It is a very good document that you highlighted today. There is getting an idea, putting it down and implementing it. President, you introduced the double licensed players, where these clubs have the young boys that are playing for the under 18, under 20. If they cannot get playing time on the senior side, then they can play somewhere to get minutes. The goalkeeping coach was highlighting of the YEPs who are not playing today. It is very hard for the head coach to pick them. They are not getting playing time and they are nowhere. Because now, most of the head coaches in here, I think they bear it witness. It's either results or you're sacked. Now, the young boys have been suffocated. You rarely get a club that will play an 18-year-old. Most of the players that were nurtured by Brian, I'm a witness, because I watch most of the games. You only find like 2 who are playing. They are all down there not playing, but these kids were for the World Cup. So I think in terms of regulation, let's try to regulate so that for every top tier team at least be having one, because it has happened in Serbia, in other countries. One is playing and one is on the bench. If you want to substitute the young kid, let the young one substitute the other one. So I think we need to note there's what coaches do. Nowadays when you're high pressed, you either play through the press or around it or over it. So it is a 25-year program, but please, let's prioritize these years before we produce that other player in the COSAFA and the SEKAFA region. Thank you so much.
First of all, Mr. Masaba, I think is the one who started saying that we are ready, we need opportunities. Nobody has taken our opportunities. The only thing is that there is no affirmative action. The competition is open for the senior team, and if there is a Ugandan who is going to compete, he will compete with everybody else. Because at this level, we are talking about international football. We are not talking about domestic football. So if the competition is going to be, we cannot refuse to give anybody a job because it's a Ugandan. No. It is about competition, experience, and then eventually a job is given. The other issue also is, what we are doing Sobolo Bogina. I will give you one comment. That much as our team was playing very well, the world has shifted. Coaches, when you are playing with the junior teams, success is not measured by results on the pitch. That's the new phenomenon actually which is coming from the Germans. The recent study they have done, you do not measure success of a junior team or a junior player by winning trophies. Because the analysis has been done that the players who win trophies actually never make it to the senior team. The two players who play very well across the whole world, who win the under-17 World Cup, the under-20 World Cup, eventually when you come and look for those players, you will find that the ones who were not as good at that age, actually the ones that are. Isn't that true? If you look through. So the Germans have just read the paper, may do a lot of reading. They are saying maybe the parameters we are using to judge the success of a coach should not be about winning matches and trophies, but how many successful players have gone through your hands to the high level. Sibian. So, remember the objective of those junior teams is not winning. The objective of those teams is actually to produce players for the senior team, isn't it? We did very well in the under 17, we did very well in the under 20. The question is, how many of those players eventually successfully migrate into the senior teams? Now, that's where success is supposed to be measured. If we are going to measure success by winning, I'll tell you some of the comments that we got from FIFA is that the African teams at the World Cup, one of the things we are lacking was actually coaching. And this is in writing to us, isn't it? One of the things we are lacking is coaching. So let us not judge results. And we are Ugandans. We love Ugandans. We love Ugandans. But then when we go in that international realm, we are talking about the World Cup, Africa Cup, things change. Things are different. And the other countries are running by the way very fast. It is better we start up doing things and we also start chasing and catch up. It's not just about being Ugandan, yes. But at the end of the day, there are so many people. When you sit where I'm sitting, the parameters are very many. So let us continue with what I said. Work very hard, position yourself, equip yourself, do what you are doing. Nature will come and pick you up naturally without even choosing. The comments by Mr. Stone about mentors, I think these ones are captured for the players to go back to their clubs. I think that's also captured. Most of the issues we are raising here are actual club issues. But one of the problems we have, and I will say this without fear of contradiction, is that, and that's the role we want Brian Owen to do for us, is to engage clubs at a technical level. What is the technical agenda of the federation versus what is the technical agenda of the clubs? Are we reading from the same page? If we are not reading from the same page, then we are going to struggle with the national teams. Because have the coaches embraced, for example, somebody talked about technology. Have the coaches embraced technology at the clubs? If they haven't, because the catapult we are talking about, it's just talking about the condition of the player. Today, you cannot do tactical analysis using catapult. It doesn't give you that. It will only give you the player's condition. And how are we using it? Like he's saying, only matches. But we are talking about, and the reason coach put insisted on us, let us buy catapult for every club. That was his proposal. And said, that's the only way we shall be able to monitor these players in terms of conditioning. But now when we get incomplete data, if we get incomplete data, then you cannot use it. You cannot base on it. I was looking at some of the statistics from Catapult. And you look at it, some clubs have used it for 5 matches. Now, does that help us? And we don't know why. And people are saying, let us sanction and use rules. Rules only operate where the rules are upon whom they are supposed also understand. You want to say something?
Yes, sir. President of India. Hey, on the other side of Catapult, we have 28 players or 30 from our clubs. You gave a club 20 catapults pieces. How are we going to manage the 28 or 30 players with 20 catapults? 2, time for the game. Match day. You tell the club to give 1 catapult to central free. How are we going to manage that? Last time I remember when we were in a meeting, I brought my concern. Up to today, nothing has been done. So we pray from your side, the President, to appeal for that, to assist you from your side. We want to use it 100%. But the way we are handling.
Point taken. And let's assume we have taken into consideration what Matthias said. Do we get the data from the 18 data remaining? Are they using? I'm telling you that there are clubs that have used as many as 5 matches a season. I don't think the problem, at this point it's the number yet. The problem is that have we appreciated that actually this technology will help us in decision making as coaches? If we don't, then we are going to struggle. Have we understood that actually we need catapult even during the training, not only match days? And two, it's not a question of putting on catapult, but also do we have the ability of interpreting, capturing, and then using that information for decision making? It starts from a mindset. Here, what I'm addressing is a mindset issue to start with. That as coaches, you must accept that technology has arrived. You do not have a shortcut to technology and science. Two, as a federation, we took a step to buy. By the way, it's not our duty to buy the catapult for them. It's the clubs, because it's a club business. You are doing club business. So it's not even a duty as a federation. And we spend a lot of money. These things are extremely expensive. And we pay licenses, by the way, every year. You're supposed to pay a license for every piece that you have. So for me, the point is, let us address the mindset. The second thing, a club that can afford can increase on the number of pieces. The one that cannot afford, then will wait for the federation to get the ability to increase if it ever comes. But at the end of the day, it's your job. It is you they are going to fire, it's not me. At the end of the day, it's your job. So when you are demanding for your tools of trade, I need balls as a coach. All of you ask for balls, isn't it? But you don't ask for catapult. Now you must get to a level to understand that the catapult is as basic as the ball itself. In this modern game, if we have to go out and compete. Then there was a gentleman who was talking about Mr. Jambadi was talking about fixed players in the comment. I think there is no federation that has done as much as this federation to try and incorporate former players. Sincerely speaking, we have done our best. We can just not take everybody. But the fact is that we have done even the comment. It's not actually comment. Analytics on TV. We have done it. So at the end of the day, we cannot just take everybody. But remember, in our technical master plan, we are saying the life after. Playing as a pillar that maybe we try to see, and if you go inside there are so many options of things that can be done. Mr. Joko was talking about qualifications. Now, the thing is, let me give you, when we are introducing these badges, let me tell you what CAF told us. Now that we are here, I'll tell you. When they were bringing the CAF A's, CAF said, you know what? Give everybody CAF A, those ones who are there. The top coaches in the country, give them CAF A. And we said, but CAF, what are you doing? We thought we are supposed to go to. No, they will resist the process. Just give it to them. The job itself will take them out. And that's what FUFA did. We said, okay, whoever is around who is senior, get CAF A, get CAF A. Now it's about you to defend it when we go to the job market. You will not be employed even if you have it. At the end of the day. So even here, you will say, okay, coaches are there, and we are saying we want to be as inclusive as possible. But this game I'm telling you, this game has taken a certain direction. This game has taken a certain direction. Even if we said whoever is around is given FCB 1, 2, 3, the job will take you out if you do not improve yourself in accordance to that system. It will knock you out. If it needs to go back to school, go back to school. I'm telling you. If you don't know how to use computers, this job will take you out. Eventually, you will have the papers, and eventually, you will not have the job. There is no shortcut. This thing has taken a direction. The game is demanding a lot more than it used to. As a coach, you must understand certain things. If you're not understanding nutrition, as a coach, to understand such that you are supervising your nutritionist properly. If you're not understanding injuries as a coach, if you're not understanding conditioning as a coach, you're going to struggle. Because at the end of the day, it is you, the head, who is going to be fired, and maybe go with your team. So, This system is going to be applied. There are going to be exemptions, like you have seen the federation has attempted to do that, but at the end of the day, the exemptions won't save you. You will have a paper, you can qualify to coach at a certain level, but then you are not employed. So what will that be? So the best thing is to improve yourself, such that you are also good in the job, and that's what I've been emphasizing from. It's not just about favoring people. At the end of the day, reality will come and catch you. So let us deal with the reality before the reality comes to catch us. Then you were talking about the issue of the languages. Members, we cannot open up. We are not going to teach the highest level in Swahili. It cannot happen. By the time you cannot comprehend English, then you leave those levels. Leave it. Because the instruction material, the instructors, and everything else is going to be in a different what? So if you cannot comprehend, go back and study English. English can be studied. Go back and study. This is the reality again. If you want to improve yourself and be competitive, you must also improve yourself. At the end of the day, then there was an issue about why the goalkeeper coaches failed progress as a senior team. I didn't understand what exactly they were saying. Oh, the disappearance of the players. Now, members, again as coaches, for me, I read a lot. And I want to encourage you in this game to read a lot. So that you are at the top of your game. If you have chosen this to be your profession, if you have chosen this to be your job, take interest in the trends. Take interest in what is happening. I've told Coach Chamba so many times that let us always have an annual symposium where we come and talk about trends as coaches. Because things change. Things which were correct yesterday, they become wrong today in football. Yesterday you were doing this, and today it has become wrong. Science and research has shown. Now the success rate of youth football is very low. Even in the best academies, you look at an academy like Manchester United, they have it all. They have the best talent, the best coaches. Then they tell you in the last 5 years they have not promoted a single player to senior team. Why? The success rate of converting from youth to senior is the most inefficient machinery that exists. If you got only one player like this, you'd have been successful. It's not because a player has been good at a junior team, it means automatically that he has to be good at the senior. It doesn't work like that. If you don't know that, go and do your research. A player can be very good at the junior team, but the most difficult bridge to cross is going to the senior level. And there are too many factors. There are too many factors. So, don't cry and say where the players disappear. That's the reality in Europe. That's the reality everywhere. They start with the players and they never make it. Even some win. Even some win. And they say they won. For example, the team that beat us, Ghana, that beat us in the finals of the Under-20 in Mauritania. There's only one player who made it through. Only one. So that is what it is. It is not that we are so bad, it's not that because, but that's what it is. Of course, we also have to improve to make sure that we give these kids as much opportunity. But we also bring so few. We always bring some 8 players. For you to succeed, maybe you need to bring more than the ones we are bringing. But again, the most important thing is that that's the only route you can get the player. We are looking for that X factor player. That's the only route. By going to the World Cup, by playing under 17 repeatedly, until we get that X factor or those players. If there are 2 or 3, it's called the golden generation. It never happens. It's once in a while. The issue of limited number of coaches in the academies, this is what we are addressing. We are saying we want to train more people, to give them the tools for them to be able to go and work. There is no shortcut to it. That's what we are addressing by some of these initiatives. Then the academy winners, academy owners want to win. It's because when we win, at that age, people think that the team that has won is the better team. Now, that's a mindset issue also. Success of younger players is not about winning trophies. It's not, forget about it and take it from me. You will find that our team, for example, at the World Cup went up the second round. There are teams that never left the group, but they have sold their players to top clubs in Europe. It's not just about the result. The result just gives you extra exposure for somebody else to give you an opportunity. It does not measure how good you are at that age. And that is what the world is behaving like at the moment. So you're right, we have to move away from winning, but it's a mindset issue. Again, in this presentation, I said we have cut out so many things because I wanted to concentrate on what we thought was for the coaches. But in the other slides, there are youth competitions that are going to be introduced, Mr. Chidi. There are very many youth competitions that are going to be introduced. We're even actually calculating how many hours of dosage are we giving a player for training in a year versus how many hours are we giving a player in a competition in a year. It's because some of those slides are cut them out. And we are getting this information from FIFA. It's not just us. To tell us a player needs at least 10,000 hours by the time he's 20 to have gone through training. Then that player can actually compete at that level. It is that structure. Mr. Kizito was talking about more courses. I think that's a given. Then Mr. Sali was talking about coaches to give more time. Guys, love your job. This business of saying as a coach I will come at the training your regular by 6, business closed, now I go into other things. At this level, football will put you aside slowly before you notice. I don't know whether you have observed that these coaches are the senior team. You find Mourinho fired here, the following day is hired there, fired here. When you enter a certain bracket, you keep there. When you get out of that bracket, you also keep there. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that let us love this job. Because you have chosen this as a job. By the time you are coaching the Uganda Premier League, you need to concentrate and take this as a job. I'm telling you, it will come back and affect you. And I'm not saying don't do it, but get people to do that for you, and you concentrate on this job. If you want to do it, if you don't want to do it, results will follow you, and eventually you'll be fired. And eventually you will not be hired. And it has nothing to do with this. That is just advice, like Mr. Sadi is saying, that let us give this job time, and let us collaborate to make sure that players are talked to. And I think finally, Mumuza was talking about catapult. But let me tell you the conversation we are going in. Our conversation is to ensure that all UPL matches are produced on camera. We are engaging a company that is doing statistics actually for the English Premier League, to be more specific, to be able to do statistics for us. Now, with Catapult, you are actually doing what they call conditioning. You're looking at the condition of the player, right? But you also need to look at the tactical side of the game. And you cannot use Catapult to give you that. Correct? You will need, now people have gone into live technology. As the game, some of you watched when we were playing Chan. I think I remember the game against Nigeria. There was a gentleman who had the camera behind on top. And he was communicating with the coach all the time. And he was once giving the coach how our team is responding. And eventually this team will just change the statistics, the tactics, and eventually you see them getting the results. They have not guessed. You might think they have guessed. The game has moved guys from there. They have not guessed. It is computerized tactical analysis that will come up and say, this is the challenge. This is where they are concentrating. This is how much they are passing left and right. This is how much they are tackling. This particular player is picked out and an analysis is done on this player. But that's where the game has gone. So, even as we're talking about Catapult, we want to go to the level of the tactical data that can help coaches take decisions. Now you can see more jobs are being created. That at that level, you need a performance analyst. You need an analyst to tell you how the team is actually performing. Sometimes we go to the level of saying how even the opponent is actually performing. For you as a coach to be able to take decisions. But at the moment, our decisions are a lot of guesswork. A lot of guesswork. I remember telling a coach, Saji, I think it was Chan. It must have been Chan, one of the Chans. And after the game, coach started saying, no. Then within the next 2 hours, CAF released the tactical data analysis. And I want to add the best performance in almost everything, the tackles, the passes, and everything. That's how the human eye can lie. The human eye is emotional. The human eye picks history of even previous matches. And then you come and bring and use it as analysis right now. And you, for example, substitute that one, that player. And you will have played for the opponent, who is using analytics to realize that, hey, they have removed this one. In fact, it's the one who has been failing us with this. Now I must introduce this kind of what? Player. And you're finished. That's how we collapse in this international competition. That for us, we go raw, we go manual, we go experience, and somebody is going science, is going technology, is going analytics. Then there was also the issue, of course, talked about online analysis. The issue of the double licensing. We introduced double licensing and there was a lot of stick. People saying this and that. By the way, FIFA engaged us. And we had a very serious conversation with FIFA on double licensing. And actually to the level that they are discussing at a high level to consider it to be used even elsewhere. Because it was innovation, and when we discussed with FIFA, they said, why don't you have a reserve league? Instead, we explained to them that we cannot afford a reserve league. We don't have the money to afford a reserve league. But if a player is available for selection by you, a coach, if he's not available, I don't think as a coach, you don't know the players you are going to use in the next game, in the next 7 days. You know. There are a few surprises, injuries, and all these things that can come. But naturally, you know that this is my team. If today is Friday and the next game is Friday, within this week, you know which is your team, unless you will get up gambling. Now, if you know that this player is not in your mind, why don't you release this player and he goes and gets some minutes of football elsewhere, such that you do not have that problem. By the time we brought the double license, we realized that there are players in your clubs who are playing 6 minutes a year. 6 minutes of football in the whole year. There are those even who had 0 minutes in the whole year, but they have a license in the club. Now you have a whole human resource, and they are not bad players, by the way. It's just because the coach believes in a certain player ahead of him. And when some of these players are given opportunity, they will come back and still be available for you to select. But when we brought up the use of Ugandan noise, you know, without thinking, critical thinking, what are we doing? Our thinking was, let us provide this player who is not getting playing time. Many of you have played football. A player is as good as playing. When you are not playing, you are not good. You are not. So, that's what we did. It's still available. Some clubs are using it, others are not. Then the issue, the final one, younger players. It takes a very bold decision for a coach to give a younger player an opportunity. Like somebody said, people are protecting their what? Their jobs. So you rather do what the owner of the club wants than the correct thing. Because that can protect your job. But technically, sometimes it's not a correct decision, isn't it? Those younger players, let me tell you coaches, those younger players can play football. I'll give an example as I conclude. When Villa got issues, we decided to say we cannot compete with KCC, with the Vipers. We cannot compete. You are a Bull. All those clubs must first get players. In that transition, a few of us Villa fans, we collected money amongst ourselves and we looked for just younger players, the next generation players. who were available. And in 2 years, they were winning the league. In 2 years, they were winning the league, and eventually they are actually in the national team. Many of them. So it is possible that these younger players, if they are given every player was once young. Even that star player was once young. But he was given an opportunity, and eventually that's how he exploded. So my advice to you is that give younger players an opportunity. Trust them. I know it is difficult, but trust those younger players. Eventually, you will see this player turning into the star you are actually looking for. Gentlemen, I think we are going to conclude this, and I will give my closing remarks as I finish. So thank you so much for the time you've made to come here. Let these engagements be all the time. Mr. Chamba, Uganda Coaches Association. Mr. Matiaba, let these engagements be. Let us come here and talk of football. I think in this room we have been talking football since we are in football. Football. There's a lot to talk about Ugandan football. A lot. Let us have these engagements. In the English Premier League, they have the monthly meeting of the managers. They are competitors, but they meet and talk about the game. We may not be able to meet monthly. Maybe you can meet quarterly. As a federation, we are in a position to be able to facilitate, to ensure that we can always meet at least once in 3 months as the coaches. Can we come here and talk about football? Ebintu byetukola. Okubanga tukola ebintu ebituufu. We are doing the right things. Under the Uganda Football Coaches Association, the Premier League coaches, you need to sit and talk about the game. What way people really know population, there are things they're supposed to bring to us when they are regulatory. And say, but as a federation, this particular regulation is not working. Or it should be modified. We are a federation that is willing to listen. And we are not sure that the regulations we put out are the best regulations. We must get feedback from a technical point of view. But when you don't sit like this, everybody is wherever they are, eventually there will be nothing. At the end of the day, there will be nothing. We will not benefit from the brains of the people that Coach Mumza is saying that let us support the elite coaches. Support it, yes, but also support the game back by giving younger players an opportunity, by doing catapult. I'm told some of you coaches talk about juju and witchcraft. In this era, don't just beat you for nothing. Football is real, it is on the pitch. It has nothing to do with those things. I don't know we are not playing this ball, I don't know we are playing this one. Let us be professional, let us be passionate, let us continue improving ourselves. Then the federation will want to come and also do it, and also pull your hand. Then now we're scared. We're going to change. One for Mokono, Mutawata, Jay. Then to come and Muchinya, Bomuchinya, we don't know what you see, what is the fame. So I want to thank you so much, and I want to conclude by saying, let us continue improving ourselves. Knowledge never stops. For me, I read about coaching. I'm not a coach, but I read for my football administration purposes. Now, what about you who is a professional? And you have chosen this as still you are saying my job is conditioning. Get modern. And get into what are the things. And you know them, and you will do them, and they will make work even easy. We have introduced a young man here who said that is an assistant of science and technology at the federation. We are looking at so many things that we want to help clubs through Brian Omo. These are employees we are paying a salary on a daily to come and improve what? Football. Work with you to improve football.